Okay, so here are the notes from today. We're going to be talking more about markup, discount, tax, tip, all of those things. So you guys can use a proportion or an equation. I'm going to be using an equation for all of these because, as I explained to you before, I think that's the fastest, easiest way to do these. All right, and remember our tip here, you always want to be thinking about how much are you actually paying or being charged, and pay close attention to what they're asking you to find. Sometimes they just want the discount, or they just want the tip or the tax, and other times they want the total. So pay close attention to what they're asking you to find, and that'll help you do the least amount of work, right? All right, so the first one says, find the amount of sales tax on a $124.95 baseball bat with 7.5% sales tax. Okay, so they are not asking us the total amount paid. They're only asking us to find the sales tax, which is 7.5% of this number. So I'm actually going to write the sentence I need to make the equation, which you're not going to need to write every time, but I'm just going to do it on these problems on the notes so you can see where I'm getting my equation from. So I want to know, what is 7.5% of 124.95? So I'm going to just translate that into an equation. Remember, when you take the percent sign off, you have to move the decimal 2 places to the left. Of means multiply, and you are allowed to use your calculator as long as you show your work. So I'm going to do 0.075 times 124.95, which gives me this number. So over in the chat, tell me how much tax is going to be charged on the glove if that's what I got for my answer, 9.372125. How much money is that? Anybody know?
$9.37.
Yeah, $9.37. Thank you. We're just rounding it off to the nearest hundredths place because money has 2 decimal places. So again, they're asking us just how much tax is being charged. So that's why I'm only finding 7.5% of the price. If they asked, oh no, it doesn't. It says, what's the total price? Oh, it's asking 2 questions. So we found part A. Look, there's a second question. Yay for us. I didn't even see that yesterday. Okay, so it is asking us a second question, which is, what is the total price? So they asked us 2 questions in this. And in order to find that, I'm going to take my price. Oh goodness, I don't want to write it in highlighter. I'm going to take my price of the glove or the bat, and I'm going to add on the tax. So that was a 2-part question. Did not even realize that yesterday, and nobody pointed it out. So this is the total here, and this is just the tax. I know you don't have space on the side. You might have to squeeze it in somewhere. All right. So the next question says, find the selling price for $12 shirts marked up 90%. So if someone's going to take that $12 shirt and raise the price by 90%, then the person buying the shirt is going to pay 190% of the price. You're not going to pay only 90%, because if the seller only charged 90% to the customers, they'd lose 10% of what they spent on the shirts. So when something's being marked up, it's always 100% the cost of the shirt plus whatever they're marking it up. So I want to know, what is 190, whoops, it wants to do straight lines. 190%, oops, of 12. So what is 1.9 times 12? And you can just do that in your calculator. and I'm going to get 22.8. And remember that when we're talking about money, we need a dollar sign and we need two numbers after the decimal place. So I'm not just going to write 22.8 as my answer. I'm going to write $22.80 as my answer. So again, another way you could do that is you could find just 90% of $12. That would be the markup, and then you could add it to $12 to get $22.80. It's just an extra step. And if you know this little shortcut, then you will only have to do one calculation. Okay, here's another clever little problem. Number 3 says games that usually sell for $44.20 are on sale for $33.15. What percent off are they? So this is kind of like that first homework question I went over, where they want to know what percent did you save. So we want to know what percent we saved. First, let's find out how much money we saved by subtracting these. We saved $11.05. So I want to know, whoops. 11.05 is what percent of the price, the original price? So 11.05 is what percent of 44.20? And we know to solve that, since x is being multiplied by 44.20, the opposite operation would be to divide both sides by 44.20. And let's see what I get. So 11.05 divided by 44.20 gives me this answer, 0.25. So they want to know what percent off are they? I just realized if I hold my pen down, it makes a straight line. So what percent off are they? 1/4%? Right, 25%. So again, pay close attention to what the question is asking you to find. Always go back and read that question again and make sure you've answered it and make sure that it makes sense. So if we're going to save $11 approximately from $44, that's like 1/4 of the price, right? We saved about 1/4, about 25%. That makes sense. All right, question number 4 says to find the total amount spent on a $75.50 bill with a 15% tip. So we want to know the total amount, which means that I'm going to pay the 15% tip and 100% of my food bill. So I'm going to be spending 115% of that bill. So I want to know what is 115% of $75.50. So what is 1.15 times $75.50? Whoops. And I'm going to use my calculator, which is fine. You just have to show what you're putting into your calculator. All right, so how much money is that? 86.825. You can put that over in the chat. How much money is that? Because we have to round off to the nearest hundredths place, right? The nearest penny. And then don't forget to put a dollar sign. Right, it's 86.83. So here's the hundredths place, and we're always going to look at the number to the right of it. If it's 5 or more, we're going to round up. If it's less than 5, we keep it, but this time it was 5, so rounded that up a penny to 83 cents. Alrighty, moving right along. The next one says find the sale price. So this is how much are we paying for $55 jeans that are 30% off. So if we're saving 30%, then we're paying 70%. So we want to know what is 70% of that price. And we can set that up in an equation. Again, you can use proportions if you want to. I just really like equations because they're so fast and easy. And if I can figure out what percent I'm looking for, it's just one multiplication or division problem and I'm done. So let me do 0.7 times 55 and I get this answer. So in money, I need to put a second number after the decimal, which is going to be 0, and make sure I have a dollar sign. So you could also find out what 30% of $55 is and subtract that from 55, but it's just extra work. It's not wrong, it's just extra work. All right, we got a couple left, and then we're going to practice. I'll give you a second to kind of catch up with your writing here. All right, the next one says find the amount saved. So we're not finding the total amount this time. We're finding how much we saved on a TV with an original price of $350 and a discount of 40%. So we want to know this time what's 40% of the price, because I want to know the amount saved. So what is 40% of 350? So I'm going to do 0.4 times 350, and I'm going to find that we saved $140. All right, one more question here. This is a commission question. So one thing you need to know about commission is, like, that's what a salesperson earns. So that's why the car salespeople come straight for you when you walk onto the lot, because they want to make the sale, because they earn commission on what they sell. And commission is just a percent of what they sell. So the more expensive the car is, the more commission they get, because it's a percentage of the price. They don't make the cost of the car. They don't make that money. The car dealership does. So they make a commission. So this one says, Mr. Green sells cars and makes 13.5% commission. He sells a car for $37,890. How much commission does he make? So all we want to know here is, what is 13.5% of that car, the price? So I'm going to change this to a decimal. Whenever I take off the percent sign, I divide by 100, which means I move the decimal 2 places to the left. So all I have to do is multiply these to get my answer. And I find out that Mr. Green makes a commission of $5,115.15.